Hello friends, this video on control and coordination part 25 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So with this we have reached towards the end of this lesson. So now we will have a look at few questions based on whatever we have studied so far in this lesson. So let us look at the first question. It says, which of the following is a plant hormone? Insulin, thyroxine, estrogen or cytokinin? Very simple. So cytokinin is the right answer. What is insulin, by the way? Insulin is a hormone which is secreted by the endocrine part of the pancreas. What does it do? It decreases the level of glucose in blood. Clear? What is thyroxine? It is secreted by thyroid gland. It helps in the metabolism of body. Estrogen, it is a female hormone. It is secreted by the ovaries and it helps in the development of primary and secondary sexual characters in females. And cytokinins, it is a naturally occurring plant hormone which promotes plant growth. Next one. The gap between two neurons is called a dendrite, synapse, axon, impulse. Right, it is synapse. So synapse is the gap between two neurons. So if this is the axon of one neuron and if this is the dendrite of another neuron, so the gap between these two is the synapse. So for an information to reach from one neuron to another, they have to cross the synapse. So here we can see these small circular molecules, they are nothing but neurotransmitters, and these objects here, they are nothing but the receiving molecules. So they are receiving the information in the form of these neurotransmitters. The brain is responsible for thinking, regulating the heartbeat, balancing the body, all of the above. Of course, it is all of the above. Now, can you tell me which part of the brain is responsible for thinking? It is cerebrum, right? Which part regulates the heartbeat? Heartbeat is something which is involuntary, right? It is not under our control. So any movement related things comes under the hindbrain. So heartbeat is again movement related, but it is involuntary. So anything involuntary is controlled by the medulla oblongata. Balancing the body, maintaining postures, all those things are controlled by cerebellum because they fall under the voluntary movements category. And this thinking by cerebrum. What is the function of receptors in our body? Think of situations where receptors do not work properly. What problems are likely to arise? So what are receptors? We have spoken about receptors, right? The word receptors itself means receiving something. So receptors are nothing but our sense organs. So they have specialized cells which can actually sense things happening outside, or they can sense the external stimuli. So the function of receptor is detect external stimuli and send them to central nervous system in the form of electrical impulse. So that is the function of receptors, right? And in case of reflex action, instead of sending it to the brain, they send it to the spinal cord. So that is why it is written, they send it to the central nervous system. Now think of situations where the receptors do not work properly. What would happen? Now receptors are present in our sense organs. Now if our eyes do not work properly, we will not be able to view things correctly. So we will face a lot of problem, right? If our ears stop working properly, we will not be able to hear sounds. That will again cause a problem, right? So let us look at some situations like that. Let us suppose if we step into the fire, what tells us that we are feeling hot or we are feeling the pain? It is because of the skin. So the skin has receptors. So skin is the sensory organ. Now if the skin receptors stop working, we do not feel the pain at all. We do not feel the heat at all. So what will happen? We will not remove our leg because until and unless we receive that information, no information will go to our brain, and our brain will not take any decision, or our spinal cord will not take any decision. So we will not remove our leg, and what will happen? Our legs will get burnt. Similarly, let us suppose this boy is standing and he sees a big tiger coming in front of him. But if his eyes are not working properly, he will not be able to see the tiger. So he will not be running, he will be simply standing. So it is very, very important that the receptors work properly, because the receptors are the one who actually brings the external information inside the body and sends them to the nervous system to take a decision. Alright? Okay, let us look at the next question. How does phototropism occur in plants? Just now we spoke about phototropism. It is nothing but the movement of plant in response to light. So it is a bending of plant in response to light. Shoots are said to be positively phototropic. Why? Because they grow towards the direction of light, whereas roots are negatively phototropic because they grow away from the direction of light. Now, what causes this kind of bending? Why does this phenomenon happen? That's because in presence of unidirectional light, there is a naturally occurring plant hormone called auxins, which are produced at the shoot tips. Now, these auxins will get diffused towards the shady side. So, the concentration of auxins increase towards the shady side. Therefore, the shady side will grow more, and therefore, there is an overall bending of shoot towards light, like this. So I think I do not need to explain it again, because just before some time I explained it. So I'm just reviewing it once again so that you know how to answer your questions, or you can at least jot down the points together. Let's look at another question. How does chemical coordination occur in plants? As I said, it happens with the help of the plant hormones, right? So chemical coordination occurs in plants with the plant hormones. These hormones are produced at a site and then diffused to the required area. That means they diffuse from the area of production to the area of action. Like in human beings also, the hormones are produced at one point and then they are carried by the blood to the target organs. So similarly in plants also the same thing happens. They are produced at one place and then they diffuse to another area where it is needed. So examples of some of the plant hormones are auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins, which help in growth of plants, and abscisic acid, which stops the growth of plants. What is the need for a system of control and coordination in an organism? Now, after going through this entire lesson, I think I do not need to answer this. You know this for yourself, right? What is the significance of control and coordination? So you would have understood by now that whatever we do, whatever our hands do, whatever our legs do, everything is being decided by the nervous system. Sometimes we feel angry, sometimes we feel sad. These feelings also come from the hormones, right? So needless to say, there is a lot of importance of the control and coordination. Now we know that in multicellular organisms like us, the body is made up of several cells, and each cell has been assigned a specific function, right? Now it is very important that the function of each of the cells are well coordinated and well synchronized with the other cells, so that together all the cells can perform the correct functions of the body. So each cell in an organism's body is assigned a specific function. Control and coordination is required to coordinate these functions of the several cells in the body, right? Let us take some example. When you answer your question paper, what happens? Your eyes read the questions. Your eyes sees the question actually. Then the information is sent to your brain. So the cells which make up the eye, the cells are doing their own job, and their job is to see. Similarly, the cells which form the brain, their job is to think. So once the information reaches the brain, only then the brain cells will start thinking, right? So that carrying that information from the eye cells to the brain cells is necessary, right? So for that we have control and coordination. Now once that information reaches brain, then the brain cells will start their job. Now the brain cells will think of the answer, and then again they will send that answer back to the muscle cells of your hand, so that your hand can move to write the answer, right? So again, for that, a communication is needed. So there has to be correct communication between the different parts of the body, because each cell is doing their own job, but their jobs must be done in a coordinated way amongst each other, and for that we need this system of control and coordination. So if there is no coordination, then life will be haphazard. Let us suppose if there is no coordination, your brain cells will not know when to think, your hand will not know when to write, right? So everything happens because of that coordination. How are involuntary actions and reflex actions different from each other? So when we say involuntary, the word involuntary itself means that something which does not happen at our will. That means something which happen on its own. So the muscle movements which don't need thinking by brain. So it happens on its own. There is no thinking of brain involved. Whereas reflex actions are the instantaneous action in response to the stimulus. That means in reflex action, brain does not play any role. The entire role is played by the spinal cord. And in involuntary actions, there is no thinking by brain. Thinking means thinking part is done by the cerebrum of the brain. So cerebrum has no role. Involuntary movements are controlled by the hindbrain, that is by medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata will control the involuntary actions and spinal cord will control the reflex action. Example of involuntary actions will be heartbeat. Reflex action is when you remove your hand on touching a hot object. So I have already shown you the flow of reflex action. So how that entire flow happens, that comes from the sensory organs to the sensory nerve, then it enters the spinal cord through the dorsal cord, then this goes to the gray matter of the spinal cord where the processing happens, then the output goes through the ventral horn to the motor nerve, and then the motor nerve carries it to the muscle cells. Compare and contrast nervous and hormonal mechanisms for control and coordination in animals. Now, when I talk of the nervous mechanism, it consists of the nervous system, and the hormonal mechanism is the endocrine system. So, nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord, and the peripheral nerves. Endocrine system consists of the hormones secreted by the endocrine glands into blood. Right, that is very simple. Next is, in nervous system, information transfer happens in the form of electrical impulses. Right, so here electrical impulses travel throughout the body, but in this case information transfer happen in the form of chemical messengers. So what are those chemical messengers? They are nothing but hormones. So here the hormones are secreted by the endocrine glands into the blood. Blood then carries the hormones, and then the hormones hit the target cells. In nervous system, the information transfer is fast, whereas in hormonal mechanism, the information transfer is slow. Right? Here it is very fast, like because the electric impulse have the capability to travel really fast. But in case of hormonal mechanism, it happens by diffusion, so it takes a lot of time. So the response time is less. So when the information will travel so fast, so the response time will be very less. Like the moment you get a stimuli, you respond very quickly. But in case of hormonal mechanism, whenever there is a stimuli, the response is there, and that response is very gradual. So the response time is more. For example, growth. We do not grow overnight, right? So it takes time to grow. It takes time for our fingers to increase in length, for our height to increase in length, right? But in case of nervous mechanism, the heart keeps beating. So it happens quickly. It doesn't take a lot of time. Right? Similarly, if we feel like walking, so our legs start moving immediately, or our hands start moving immediately. So the response time is very less. Okay, so with this, I think we came towards the end of this lesson, and I hope that this video on control and coordination would have helped you in understanding the mechanism of the nervous system and the endocrine system in human beings, and also the nervous system in other animals, and coordination in plants. So please keep watching. See you all in the next lesson. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.